Okay, it is a cold morning here in Northeast Ohio. It's probably about 29, 30 degrees right now, as you can tell by the frost and the frozen creek over there. We're gonna be cutting down this gnarly willow tree. It needs to come this way because this way is the customer's property. There's nothing around it that's gonna fall on, even if it does fall over here, but I prefer to keep it out of the neighbor's property. However, if you come back here, you can see it's got quite the lean, and there's no weight on this side of it where I want it to fall. So I'm gonna be using a bottle jack. It is a 6-ton from Lowe's. I think it was about 40 bucks. That's what I had to do on this one here. This one was pretty gnarly also. And I'm gonna have to double cut it just because of how big it is. So what we're gonna do first is I'm going to cut my notch into it, get that, and then I'll start making my back cut. Once I'm in far enough that my chainsaw can be in there without hitting the bottle jack at all, we'll do a plunge cut. I'm thinking roughly around here-ish, so that I can get that bottle jack in there and jack her up and hopefully see if we can swing some of this weight, because I want it to land right on top of that pile right there. That's the plan. The only weight that I'm worried about is this one right there, because that's where most of the weight's gonna be at on this side. This here is pretty much straight up. It's just once it starts to fall this way with the bottle jack, I think we'll be good to go. So I'll get my notch in there and I'll be back. Okay, so we got my notch in there and it's pointed the way that I want it to fall. Start on the back cut on this side. I'm around here. On this side, I have to double cut it because I don't have a big enough saw. On this side, we're about here. Most likely, I'm not going to be able to cut all the way in the middle, which sucks. But I have a bigger saw up there if I need to. And then I have my little hole dug out for my bottle jack. And then I have 2 wedges on either side just so I make sure that the back pressure on it doesn't start to pinch my saw. I have a little bit of tension on this right here, not a whole lot. Once we get to a point where I think that it'll fall, then we will just start cranking on it. Realistically, what I want to get to is I want to get to pretty close to the end of my wedge, roughly around, or the end of my notch, probably roughly around here-ish, which is where I'm going to land up at on this side, and then roughly the same distance on the other side. So I'm going to try to show you guys pumping the thing up and having it fall, but if I don't, then you'll see when it falls. Okay, so I think I got it cut mostly through. I had to pull out the bigger saw, the 461. I think it's got a 28-inch blade. It's because my 20-inch saw, there was stuff in the middle that I couldn't get through. But I started to jack it up a little bit, and you can see that my wedges here are loose. This one is not yet, but I have 2 2x4s here. So what I'm gonna do is once there's enough room in this gap here, those will be thrown in there, just in case I have to lower the whole thing and reset it. As in, like, I get completely maxed out. So I'm just gonna start jacking her up here. You can see at the top of the tree, I'm trying to keep the camera steady, but also I had to shove an old edger blade in there because, as you can see, the ram would just keep going up because it's a softer wood. I'm gonna try and set this up somewhere. pretty maxed out here. It only wants to grab down in here now. We're maxed out. So this here's what I came up with. I had some old deck boards, cut out 3 of them, threw a wedge in there, did the same thing just to prop it up, lowered the bottle jack down, threw these 2 underneath there, screwed that up more, and we should be good to go. I also threw some 2x4s on either side there, so should be good to go. It should realistically fall now. If not, I have more decking and whatever else to throw in there. Maxed out again, so we'll just repeat the same process. Okay, perfect. That's exactly where I wanted it at. The problem that we were having is that because I was double cutting it, I was a little bit higher on this side. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. That's probably a good 2 inches. But then the bigger saw came through and overlapped them, so we're good to go. But yeah, that is exactly where I wanted this to land, because now what I can do is, if the customer only wants it piled up, I can cut it off there and not even have to worry about the top half. So that is the end of this video. That's how to use a bottle jack to move a leaning tree. And it'd be easier if you used a farm jack. I think that's the name of it. It's got a bunch of holes up the side and it kind of steps its way up. I'll see if I can show a picture on here of what that looks like. But that would probably be the best way to do it, because then you don't have to keep readjusting this thing. Because that is probably the most stressful part of it. So that is it, and I'll see you guys next time.